So yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, my name is Kuokka and I'm representing a company called Crank Crew. Some of you may have heard about it. So it was founded a couple of years ago, first by 6 founders. Most of them came from a company called Mr. Good Living. One of them came from Sulake. Now we have been growing. Now we are 35 people, still growing. It's been quite a nice ride so far. But yeah, let's go in the subject. Here's our company picture. Pretty much almost everyone is included, myself in the middle. And yeah, this is our product, Supernauts. We've been building this game, or developing this game now more than 2 years, 2.5 to be exact. Some of you may have heard of this, I know, but here are some screenshots about the game. Maybe the best way to describe the game is it's sort of free-to-play Minecraft mixed with puzzle mechanics and missions. But basically you can build things out of blocks, and you have to produce some blocks and so on. Then you can use the rocket and go back to Earth to save people, be a superhero, meet other supernauts. This is actually a screenshot from one of our missions in Care. There are some people going on to the rocket, and then you can bring back them to your world, and there's this sim mechanic also included in the game. It's kind of hard to describe, but actually the game is coming out 6th of December, which is the Finnish Independence Day, so everybody in Finland can at least play the game and download it. Yeah. So what we have done so far is that we had 2-stage soft launch. First we went live in New Zealand, which was the alpha test, like a year ago approximately. We called it a technical test to see like everything is going on well with the game and in-app work and so on. With this kind of free-to-play mechanics and free-to-play game, it's good to know where you're going, because you don't know how it's gonna perform before you get enough users into the game. Then we needed some more scale, and we went live in Canada, and that was called the beta, the actual soft launch. And like Supercell is also doing with their Boom Beach game, like many companies are doing that. It's because, well, also with New Zealand, it's an English-speaking country. The users are similar to their most crucial market, which is the United States. And also they are relatively small markets, so that if something goes wrong, you have bugs in the game or something, you don't lose that many customers. So it's pretty good to use those markets. So what did we learn with those soft launch and in user acquisition wise is that, well, partly probably because of our game's looks and how it is, it's real 3D, so video rocks. For user acquisition, when you get users, it's so much more convincing to show the game in a video than just showing them a picture, like interstitial or banner. So that's one thing what we learned. Also another thing is that there's a huge difference between different ad networks, how they perform, what kind of reporting they give you, what kind of dashboards they have with their SDKs and so on. With analytics, we came to the conclusion that we use Omniata, which is a company. They are now in beta, and they're based in San Francisco, but they are soon gonna be launching and everybody can use them. For tracking, we use mobile app tracking by Microsoft. So actually that enables us to get rid of all the excess SDKs, and we need only like SDK from Omniata and mobile app tracking, and then all the ad networks work through them, which is pretty easy for us and pretty nice. So if I need to add an ad network to our for a user acquisition, I can just go to the Has Software's dashboard and create a tracking URL and send it to the ad network, and they can use that, and that's just so easy. Yeah, one thing that probably is good to mention is that you should check the reports. If you're a small company, you use user acquisition, check like the installs and the amounts, because it's really common with ad networks that they use the most largest numbers for installs that they can get from their database, which is just natural, and which can be different from your data and the actual data. So it's good to check that. So yeah, what's happening right now? With the market is that, yeah, the big players, they are buying, like Supercell, King, Gung Ho, just to mention some. If they can run ROI positive marketing, they can just buy all the inventory they can get, and that's basically what they are doing. And that's driving the CPI cost really high, especially now when the Christmas is coming. There's been rumors that the CPI prices can go as high as $6, which is quite a lot. But then again, it doesn't matter as long as you just have a good product and you can run ROI positive marketing, right? So as long as you get some more back than you use, it doesn't matter if it's 20, right? But then you need a really good product. So let's do some math just to give you a rough idea about the costs. So you have a new game, right? 100,000 users. That's a good start. Typically with free-to-play games, 5 to 10% of them convert, right? Somewhere between that. So let's go with 7.5%. So that means from 100,000 users, 7,500 users actually monetize. So they make some purchase into the game. And let's say minimum in-app purchase is $4.99, which is, well, it's okay. And if we calculate that every one of those users, they buy the smallest in-app purchase possible, you get 37,425 USD minus the 30% cut for Apple. This is for the iOS side, by the way. And that leaves you with 26,197.5 USD, which is actually not that much, considering you have 100,000 users. Okay. So how do you get those users? Let's say that you acquire them, you buy those users. The user acquisition cost, of course, it varies between markets, country. It really depends also from the time, the prices fluctuate and so on. So it's between $1.5 and $4. Let's think that it's 2.5, which is pretty common. And with 2.5, the actual price for acquiring 100,000 users is 250,000, right? Plus you're gonna need the 30% Apple share, which makes it 325,000 USD just to break even. Of course, these numbers are really straight cut, so don't think this too hard. This is just to get you a rough idea. So with 7.5 conversion rate, every user that actually is going to buy something from the game has to buy with $44 just to break even. Right, okay, this is really straightforward. What about retention? Okay, you get a 50% day one retention. It's really common, you have something between 40 to 80%, it really depends what kind of game you have and so on. Okay, you're gonna lose half of the users after 1 day, which probably means that you're not gonna make any money with them, which actually doubles the price already. So every user who makes an in-app purchase has to spend at least $87 just to break even, which is quite a lot. But of course, you have to think the lifetime value and if the user is gonna stay in the game for, I don't know, a couple months, 3 months, it can be actually a lot more too. This is just a rough cut. So, how to reduce those costs? Of course, there's the 90 to 95% of the users that never spend any money in your game. One thing to monetize those is really easy way to monetize those is what in-game ads, like McDonald's here, and you get something back for all of those users. Not as much as you use for that, but it's a good way to reduce the costs. And the other thing is, of course, organic users, which means the virality. Yeah, friends, like Jussi talked earlier, friends showing the game to other people, Facebook, things like that. So let me tell you something how we are doing that. So we have implemented EveryPlay and Facebook Overdraft into our game, and with EveryPlay, we are doing this thing so that it's really deeply like put inside the gameplay itself. So actually, in the game, you can the player can buy this camera video chapter, which actually costs in-game currency, and it can be used to record video. So on the right lower side of the screen, you can see there's this camera button, and you can tap it, and it opens this window inside the game, and the user can record video. And by this, actually, the player is thinking that it's a good thing to do, and it's actually a nice thing to share, and it's part of the gameplay. So it's not that bad if everybody remembers like Facebook spamming and all that. So this is a new kind of approach to that. And when the player does the video, he gets this preview of his world or her world, and we have these most popular words and so on. And when you tap one of the names, it opens this menu where you can see like player card, and here you can see like all the worlds that player has, and the EveryPlay video recording tool is actually used as a part of this. And also, yeah, one thing is that when the player creates this video for the game, it actually also shares the video automatically in the EveryPlay site, which also players can go there and like the video and share it even more, and so on. So it's like really deeply integrated into gameplay. And one thing, what we are also doing with Facebook, is that when you have Facebook friends, we have this presence, as you can see on the left side of the screen. And for all you Facebook friends, you can go visit the other player's turf by just tapping the name and then flying there. And you can find this present, which is actually like really valuable blocks that you cannot get otherwise. And you can give those blocks as a present to your Facebook friend. So there's this small incentivized thing to get your Facebook friends to play the game and actually play with them and having fun with them. And more friends you have, the better, because more blocks your friends can give you. You cannot keep the blocks that you find on other players' turf by yourself, but you can give them away as a present. And also one thing to do is, well, of course, achievements, pretty basic. You have like get 25 Facebook friends in the game, and you get some gems and so on, and then get like 50 Facebook friends and you get more gems and so on. This is just to push people a little bit more to sharing and adding Facebook friends to the game. And yeah, so how this all resulted actually is that people come into our Facebook page and they come there and they post like, these are what we have posted in our Supernauts page, and they like add me and I'm looking for Supernauts friends, could you be my friends and so on. So it's actually working, and it's pretty nice to see that people meet new friends and they even want to have Supernauts Facebook friends, which is pretty awesome. I think it's still closed, and you can like only the Canadian users can see this, so it's not that big yet, but we can already see that it's bringing us some results. And yeah, that was about it. And are there any questions?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I was just wondering that you mentioned Omniada and I think it was called mobile app tracking. Are those free of charge or is it do you have to pay for those? I don't think you mentioned it, Brian. Is this?
Yeah, Omniada is still in beta, so I have actually no idea what's their model, what they're gonna work with, but I believe that you have to pay for that. Mobile app tracking works so that they take like 1 cent or 2 cents for every like user that they track. So yeah, they work by the scale. So actually, small companies can easily use it too, and it's not an unbearable cost for you.
Thank you.
Hello. So what kind of experience you have already in the Canadian soft launch about your game?
Good question. It's doing great. It's incredible to see, like, we have lots of really hardcore fans already there, and they are doing really crazy stuff, building new things and all that, and I'm also pretty active on the Facebook and so on. But it's still like we're still honing the game and we still are polishing it. But yeah, so far it's been really encouraging and really nice to see like how much people like the game.
Hey, how about players which don't use Facebook or doesn't want to integrate the Facebook into the game? How they do interact with each other in the game?
Well, the interaction is pretty much more restricted in a way that we also want to control what people do and what they share, and so that, you know, get rid of all the trolls in the game. So one way that we have found that people communicate actually, because also the chat is linked to the Facebook, so they communicate with blocks. They form words to the ground from blocks, and then they chat through that, which is actually quite funny to see. That. But yeah, we wanted to have it restricted a little bit so that to avoid trolling. Anyone else?
Can you please give some more details on your user activity with Everplay? How many videos do they share? How active they are in sharing videos?
Currently, it's still kind of under beta test for us, but and it's like our game is hidden still in their service, so it's open only for the Canadian players. But so far, yeah, hundreds, thousands of videos. So it's been great to see like people sharing and using that. But of course, we're still honing the service and it's getting there. So, and also we might change something in the gameplay still, but mostly we're getting there.
Yeah, hi. I have actually played the game, and my first impression was that was not so easy to play on the first seconds, and I got a little bit not so interested in the game. But when I saw the pictures of the late game pictures, those looked so much more interesting. You had big statues there and a lot more to do than on the just first seconds of the game. So I'm really looking forward to test that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, there's one question through Twitter that do you have other costs in community building than the user acquisition costs?
Well, with community management, I'd like to know like
Community building, you know.
community
Yeah.
building. Well, of course, you need the persons to manage that and somehow tolerate. I mean, keep the pages updated and handle all the like fans and keep them like keep new content coming on. So that's kind of internal cost with the company itself. But otherwise, like using Facebook, having forums, that's not so big of a cost. So that's actually the community thing is it's so much cheaper than with the actual user acquisition and and for small companies I think that's one of the only ways they can actually acquire a lot of users and cheap or like free users by just building the community already in the like very beginning of developing the game and getting it there. So yeah. Okay. Thank you.